storm surge will be a concern. There's a storm surge warning in effect for 12 counties between Taylor and Lee on the Gulf Coast, and that obviously may impact some folks who live in those low-lying areas. Much of North and Central Florida have experienced above normal rainfall over the past 2 weeks, which will increase the likelihood of flash flooding conditions with the anticipated heavy rain. And I think that that's important, whether it's a hurricane, a strong tropical storm. Those winds are what they are. They obviously have impact, but you're going to see a lot of rain dumped, particularly on the northern part of the state that is already saturated right now. So those conditions, even under normal circumstances, could be present. Now, the interaction of the wet ground with even more rain, you will see flash flooding conditions in many parts of Florida as this thing moves through. So if you're in those coastal areas, begin your preparations now. Be prepared to be without power for a few days and having enough food and water for each person and their family, including for your pets. It's important that Floridians have weather alerts turned on, especially as we see the most impacts will occur overnight with this storm. Please heed all warnings from local officials. If they ask you to evacuate your area, it's for your own safety. Counties will open shelters if they issue evacuations. Now, we don't anticipate any widespread evacuations as a result of this storm at this point. It pretty much has been focused on people who are power dependent or who have special needs. There could be targeted low-lying areas in some of those counties, and so what we would just tell people is heed the warnings. If those orders are issued or if those orders are recommended, please heed the call on that. But again, in terms of any type of widespread evacuation, we don't anticipate that will be something that's necessary. As you are preparing for the storm, if you're going to mess around with your trees, just make sure that you take precautions for your own safety. Use the proper tools and materials. We see every year, incidents result either pre or post storm for people who are cutting down trees. And of course, if you do lose power and decide to use a generator, please make sure to use it appropriately. The exhaust must go to open air and not inside your home, not inside your garage, and also not inside under an open window. Sometimes people will put it right out their window, have the window open with the power cords running, and the exhaust comes into the house. As Kevin Guthrie and I have pointed out over the last couple days, the last 4 years, there have been more fatalities as the result of people getting carbon monoxide poisoning than direct impacts from the storm. And so please use that appropriately and just understand that if that is put inside a house, that is very, very hazardous to people's health and safety. So the state is well equipped to handle the storm. We have the state emergency response team working around the clock. We are going to increase the readiness to a level 1. We normally wouldn't do that for a tropical storm, but given the part of the state that this is likely to impact the most of those counties are fiscally constrained counties, and so Kevin Guthrie and his team are going to provide additional support for those fiscally constrained counties. Please monitor your local weather service for updates and begin your storm preparations. We're appreciative of everyone here who's snapped right into shape to be able to deal with this after having dealt with, of course, the Surfside building collapse and after having over a year where they were in emergency posture to deal with the coronavirus pandemic. I'm going to let the state DEM director, Kevin Guthrie, say a few things.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you for your leadership on this. Again, our hearts are out, go out to Surfside, and our prayers for the continued response there. We do have a microcosm of the state emergency response team still downrange in Surfside, helping them out. I obviously came back last night with the governor to get ready for this event, but we arrived to an already activated EOC, and these individuals, men and women of the state emergency response team, I cannot say enough about them. They are professionals at what they do. They are the best in the world. And they have been carrying on for well over 480 days now straight. The only thing that I would add to the governor's comments here is I did, when I got back yesterday from Surfside, I had personal phone calls with each and every county EM director that are underneath a watch or a warning, and asked them if there was any needs that they had. Only a handful of counties actually requested some stuff from a truckload of water to a handful of personnel to help augment their very small programs. So we are filling those requests today. They will arrive prior to landfall. So again, there were no unmet needs with the exception of about 3 counties that needed, like I said, anything from water to personnel. We stand ready. We will be here overnight tonight, working and being on the ground, ready to go if any of our counties should need us. Again, Governor, thank you for your leadership on this.
Okay. Do you have any questions? All right. Well, we'll have, yeah.
You earlier mentioned 6,000 utility workers.
Yeah.
National Guard also being posted anywhere, or?
Yes, sir. As a part of the governor's initial roll-up, we did call up about 200 Florida National Guardsmen, maybe about 250, but we do have them on standby, ready to go. The majority of them are at our logistical staging center down in Orlando, helping us push commodities out of that warehouse.
We'll have another update. The 11 a.m. advisory for the National Hurricane Service, if they are going to make changes to the track. We don't anticipate any major changes being made, but I do think, and again, the impacts are going to be far to the east of the actual eye of the storm, but we are in a situation where they're looking at Levy County, Citrus County, Dixie County area as landfall. But if it does wobble one way or another, I mean, that obviously would impact that. So we may see an update in the track at the 11 a.m. and then we'll obviously have a 5 p.m. advisory as well. So we'll continue to provide updates as we go. Thanks.